An animated movie from 1940 set to classical music with no dialogue.
Is there any chance it still holds up today? Let's find out. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Danny.
I'm John.
And this is our Charm Midlife. And
Indeed.
Indeed it is.
Yes.
Thank you for agreeing.
Yes, I
know where you are.
I do. I know my life.
This is number 3 in our series of watching all of the Disney animated feature films.
Easy for you to say.
Not so much.
We're not exactly hurtling through them, are we? But it's a bit much.
We're talking about Fantasia this week.
We are.
And again, the third film in a row that I don't remember ever seeing.
Like I've said before, it's my dad's favorite movie. I have to have seen it. I had to have seen it as a kid, but I didn't retain a thing from it.
There were the sections that are continuously played that I knew. Mm-hmm. Mickey with the broomsticks and the pails of water, the ballerina hippo, the ballerina
ostriches,
emus or ostriches, whatever they were. So there were little things that I've seen, and even prints, I think, like of the fish in the very beginning or something. But I had no idea how they were assembled.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Let's get into the nuts and bolts of Fantasia.
Here we go.
It came out in 1940. It actually had a rating of G, so I don't know if the rating system came about in 1940 or if this is just a retro G rating because, it's been re-released so many times. So
okay, interesting.
It is 2 hours and 8 minutes. And this is actually the longest Disney animated feature film.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the write-up for Fantasia is a series of 8 famous pieces of classical music conducted by Leopold Stokowski and interpreted by Walt Disney's team of artists.
Yep.
That's what it is.
It sure was.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Orchestra plays the music in the movie. Interestingly enough, though, the musicians you see in the movie are not the Philadelphia Orchestra. Yeah. They are Hollywood musicians.
Oh, okay. Well, at least they're musicians and not just actors.
Sure, yes.
It's something.
This was also the first time that Mickey Mouse was ever in an animated feature film.
Again, easy for you to say. I'm sorry.
It's Sunday morning.
It sure is. We just finished
breakfast. Haven't talked much yet. I'm not warmed up. Me.
It's always about you.
You.
Okay.
So anyway, first time Mickey Mouse appeared in a feature film. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it took all the way till number 3, but yeah. I'm sorry.
Someone is cynical.
I'm just saying there wasn't much chance for him until now.
Okay. As it says, there are 8 segments. Mm-hmm. We are introduced to each segment by the speaker that I didn't write down his name.
A faux conductor.
His name is out there, but of course I didn't write it down, and I'm sorry. And he introduces each piece of music and explains what it is that you're going to see. This was surprising to me. I thought Fantasia was a lot more like Fantasmic at the parks, and that it was just kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of different things, but set to music. I knew there was no dialogue, but I didn't think it was segmented the way it was, and that each segment was like a little story.
Agreed. I didn't realize it was going to be broken up and introduced by that faux conductor.
Yeah.
I thought it was just all 2 hours of, from one to another.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad breaking it up like that.
No, and I actually appreciated it because the way he would describe what was about to happen, I could follow it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, because there were certain times like not the Rite of Spring, in Pastoral, where, it was all the mythological gods and the Bacchus and the centaurs and all that. Like him going through and explaining it before it happened helped me to just kind of follow along.
Yeah, you're right. Without an introduction, that would have been like, huh?
What's happening?
What?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So the different music that we hear, there's Swan Lake, there's the sorcerer and his apprentice, which is Mickey, and that's the broomstick one. Mm-hmm. I actually read that the animators made the sorcerer in that after Walt's likeness, and I guess people say like the raised eyebrows and all of that. And they called him, what was it? It was Disney backwards, so they called him Sid Yen. Yeah, Sid Yen is what that sorcerer was called because it was Disney backwards. I also read that this was the first time, which again, only 3 into it, but Walt said, colors, do whatever colors you want.
Wow, yeah.
And they had complete freedom on all the colors, which,
Yeah.
again, we'll get into all that. So in Pastoral, there was the ballet, there was the Night on Bald Mountain, there's Ave Maria at the end. So there are familiar songs that you've heard all your life. So it's not hard to get into that. Then it's the real star of this is the animation.
Yeah, totally.
And we've been talking about that with the first 2 movies, Snow White and Pinocchio, and as messed up as the stories may have been, how wonderful the animation was. And this just takes it to another level of the show-offness. Like, that's what I said they kept doing in those movies. They really show off in this. There's a lot of, it's everything. Water and the dinosaurs and the start of the planet and those volcanoes and everything. That was kind of amazing.
Yeah, for 1940, I was surprised how good they did on it.
Yeah.
You know, with the dinosaurs and what they looked
and
like.
How they moved.
How they moved, what they sounded like. Well, they didn't really sound like anything, but the ferociousness came across of some of them. And,
yeah.
you know, it was really well done, I thought.
I thought so too. And I thought the same thing. Like in 1940, I'm sitting here going, you know, today we know how much they study and they have, you know, people come in, and they did the same then. They would have people come in so they could see how they moved, and like there was an actress that came in for the hippo, and they used her to play the hippo. You know, I know they did that, but you think about in 1940 versus today, where they can just kind of pull people up online and go, how does that animal move? How does this animal move? But then to go through all of these different animals and the centaurs and the pans and the cupids flying around, nothing did I see where I was like, that's not how something like that moves.
Yeah.
Like they really, the swimming, the fishes, I'm just amazed still that back then they could get it so right and do it so well that I don't miss a beat still today.
Yeah, and put it in perspective, that's 85 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this
like
movie...
he said, the orchestra comes on stage, he goes, all those people are dead now.
I don't often have morbid thoughts, but when I do. No, that movie is before anybody we know in our lives was even born.
Yeah, I mean, before World War II.
Yeah, well, during the start of World War II.
As far as America's concerned.
As far as America's concerned, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy to think about.
That's just a perspective that how well they did such a long time ago. I
right.
mean, it's just...
And I think to me the biggest surprise there was that Rite of Spring, which shows the start of from the galaxy to the planet to the start of life, and they go all through evolution. And I said to him, I was like, in 1940 they had this. They already got the evolution part. The interesting thing was they didn't really know what killed the dinosaurs at that point, but they still got it pretty right.
They knew...
They didn't get the asteroids hitting, but they knew there was a cloud and there was no more food, and they starved.
And everything dried up and fire and all that stuff. It was pretty impressive. All
it was
things considered.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
could they release that today and have people be okay with it?
I'm not sure Disney could release much today and have everybody be okay with it.
Yeah,
but so there was science involved, but there was also several, I'll say, more traditional conservative themes that were...
Well, the last two, the Night at Bald Mountain with the demon and him summoning up all of his little demon people. Wow. And then it translated into Ave Maria, where a bunch of handmaids or nuns were walking.
Ave Maria is classically considered a religious song.
That's the point I'm making.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It went from the devil to the other side.
I'll show myself out.
Yeah, I thought as far as it holding up today, I think it does. You know, I think this music still, the animation still holds up. I think the only part that I had a problem with was hanging on.
Yeah, it was long. It didn't need to be as long as it was. I agree with you. It holds up.
It holds up because these are classic stories, classic everything. So it does hold up. But like I was saying to him halfway through, I was like, I'm used to, and again, I know I'm not the only person, but I'm used to watching TV and doing something and maybe checking my phone and because I can listen to the dialogue still or whatever. Here, there's no dialogue, so you have to watch to pay attention, and that's harder today than it used to be. Yeah, and I think in a dark theater, I would have fallen asleep because that classical music just makes me.
Yeah.
It makes me just.
It's highly probable for me too. And
Yeah.
I love classical music. My early childhood, I heard a lot of classical music. All of this was very familiar to me, and I really enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought it was really well done. I just really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I just really liked it. So, and you can see early pieces of other movies to come, like the mythological stuff in Hercules. You can see, like, I felt like the Night at Bald Mountain with that demon. There's a little Maleficent in there. There's a little, like, you can kind of see just different pieces of them going, oh, well, we did that. How can we turn this into, what's the storyline here that we would take it to?
Yeah.
Even like with Sorcerer and the Apprentice, there's Sorcerer in the Stone with Merlin and Arthur and all that. PhilharMagic, what? Go ahead.
Well, you could tell that was based on something, or I always thought that was based on something, but I didn't know what. And I think it's based on this when he was pretending to be the sorcerer and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, because Donald, he takes his hat off, Donald grabs it, and that's where, so it is the magic hat still, the sorcerer's hat. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cool, yeah, I think, this is one, finally, I mean, I can say, I would definitely sit with your kids.
I didn't cringe once.
I did, but that's okay.
Oh.
But it was nothing big.
Oh.
But I would definitely, I think, sit with your kids, especially if they haven't been exposed to this kind of music. I do think you'd probably have to take it segment at a time. Like, just sit for 10 minutes, have them watch one segment, and then they're probably going to be off and running.
Yeah.
But then sit back down with them again and watch another segment. And just, again, taking in the animation, taking in the music, and getting them to really fall in love with that.
Agreed. This is not for today's attention spans. It's much more for a 1940s attention span when you just had dirt to play with.
Yes. Are you going to rate it?
I really enjoyed it, aside from the one part I forgot about now where, yes, I did cringe once. I was shocked once. I'm still going to give it an 8. I enjoyed it. I love classical music. I do. And seeing these visuals, and I'm a color guy. I see a lot of color, and this was really so cool for me. Yeah, I give it an 8. I enjoyed it so much more than I thought I would, knowing that it was from 1940, and on the heels of Snow White and Pinocchio. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
Because I thought there was a lot, especially the first half. I really, really enjoyed the interpretation of the music to colors and that sort of thing. And again, I feel like this is a classic that can live on. There's just no question about that. I really enjoyed it. Did you have a favorite part/segment?
I didn't enjoy the Mickey part as much as I thought I would.
Oh, okay.
That got a little tedious for me, or a little too much or something. I kind of enjoyed the whole Genesis part of it, the dinosaur part of it.
Right, the
what is
Rite
it
of
called?
Spring.
The Rite of Spring.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd have to say that's probably
that was well done. Yeah. Mine was it wasn't even really one of these segments. It was an interaction with the speaker where they had a sound wave.
Oh yeah,
or a sound string, whatever.
A line.
Yeah,
a string.
And had it react to different instruments. And I kind of live my life now looking at sound waves. And so I loved seeing that and the different colors, and again the animation that they put to each of those instruments.
Go on. Go on. Drop the other shoe, will you?
Yeah.
That I just love that. So
Yeah, and now that I heard you say that the Walt said, complete freedom with the colors. Now it makes sense, and what a great decision that was.
yeah, because again, they could just do whatever they wanted to do, and that filled the screen.
Yeah, and my only thing about it, it's not even really a negative because I stuck with it the whole way, but 2 hours 8 minutes is a little long. I don't think it needed to be that long. But that's not even a complaint. That's just an observation.
Yeah, but I can see back then it would have been great. They knew what music they wanted to choose, and so
Sure.
they put it together, and they said, well, we'll see if people come and see it.
Yeah.
And actually they didn't. This was a flop in 1940, but it's obviously picked up since then. And then in 2000 they remastered it, and I guess there are like some behind the scenes or added little things in it. So we will get to that point when we get to 2000.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll watch it again.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so that's it for this week. We have so there's 64 total, so we have 61 movies left. I think the next two movies are the uplifting ones of Bambi and Dumbo. So have you seen those?
Probably, but I don't I have no recollection of anything.
I don't either.
I know the stories.
I know that they make me very sad, and I don't know really why. So there's got to be some memory.
So much trauma in early Disney movies. It's like
There's a lot of trauma in later Disney movies too. I mean, we know that. Please stick with us. We are putting one of these out every week in this series, so subscribe so you will be back to see the next one and our interpretation of that. But thank you so much for watching. Like this video, and we will see you next time.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It's this. So
Everybody calm down.